All right, I'm excited for you guys to learn from Jodi Graber. She's an integrative nutrition health coach who helps women better understand the connection between stress, emotional eating, overall well-being. And I really love, Jodi, that you kind of take focus of that it's not just what we're doing, but it's what's happening on the inside that is causing our actions on the outside. And sometimes we're really disconnected from this. So I love how you kind of incorporate that all together in your work. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being the leader of Hey Girl, You Can. It really is a wonderful community. So for those of you who aren't members, I encourage you to take a look. So I want to speak today about the hidden cost of overwhelm, kind of what Tara was just talking about, how our stress habits are shaping our business decisions. And I will give you, uh, I want to say a simple tool. It's simple, but it takes time to understand it. But we'll get there. Uh, what I want to say also is we've been sitting a while, so if you feel like you need to like shake your shoulders or put your shoulders up to your ears and drop them, please feel free to do it. Be comfortable. We're all here to learn how to help ourselves relax. And something I have noticed with myself, with the work I do with women, is we become so used to functioning in overwhelm that we barely notice how much it is affecting us. And we start to believe that stress is a part of being busy, being ambitious, being responsible, and being successful. The problem is that the overwhelm doesn't only affect our mood and our energy, it is quietly shaping the choices we make throughout the day. It influences what we eat and how we eat, if we take time to rest, how we rest, and in terms of business, how we communicate, how we focus, and how we respond under pressure. And I want you, and when I say you, I want you to understand too, there is no judgment in anything I say here. Everything I say, I'm saying for myself because I need to remind myself of this all the time. So please know there is absolutely no judgment in anything I am saying. The habits we turn to in the stressful moments, they are not random. They are attempts to help us cope with what we're going through. When we are overwhelmed, our brain is naturally looking for relief. It wants comfort, stimulation, distraction, energy as quickly as possible. And that is why our stress habits happen automatically. We reach for sugar or caffeine because we're exhausted. We keep working instead of resting because stopping feels so uncomfortable. And we multitask through meals because slowing down feels impossible. And while these habits may help us temporarily, they get us through that moment, they often create a cycle that leaves us feeling even more depleted. So when we rely on the sugar or caffeine to get us through the stressful days, then we experience the energy crash, the brain fog, the anxiety, and the difficulty to concentrate. And that is then impacting our decision making, our productivity, our patience, our creativity, and our leadership. So, one thing that I remind myself and my clients is what we tend to call a lack of discipline is often our nervous system asking for support. We start to blame ourselves. We play that blame shame game when we do something. But again, as it's been said, we are not a problem to fix. I appreciate so much that's been said. But when we start asking for the support we truly need, the entire conversation begins to change. Again, what's been mentioned here, awareness. And for me, when I became aware that it wasn't that I lacked willpower, it is that I had not learned how to respond to stress in a supportive way. That changed everything. And when I go through that with clients, it is the precious aha moments, and then things begin to change. Awareness. So for right now, I'd like to invite you all to think about this for a minute. When overwhelm hits you, what is the habit you most often reach for? When overwhelm hits you, what is the habit you most often reach for? Is it sugar, caffeine, emotional eating, overworking, procrastination? I mean, the list can go on and on. So think what it is for you. And then ask yourself this question. What is that habit trying to give me? What is that habit trying to give me? What is it trying to tell me? And it's often, the answer is offered things like comfort, relief, energy, distraction, control, soothing, a sense of escape. Any of those things, probably more. Please feel free to share in the chat what comes up for you. What I want you to think about here is when we look at our habits with curiosity instead of criticism, we create the space for change. So instead of blaming ourselves for not having willpower, ask yourself, what is this habit trying to tell me? What is it trying to do for me? So be curious, not critical. And here's something else you can do in these stressful moments. Pause and support. So before automatically reaching for caffeine, sugar, any of those things that we talked about, ask yourself, what would support me most right now? What would support me most right now? That question shifts us out of self-judgment and into self-awareness. And by doing that, we are supporting ourselves and we can actually begin to respond differently. And like I said, it's sort of simple. It doesn't happen overnight. The important thing to keep in mind here is you may ask yourself, what would support me right now? What do I need? The answer in that moment, in this instance, might be caffeine, right? It might be. And then you're drinking the coffee, and then you might want to say, why did I do that? Ask yourself or remind yourself, I did it because I was seeking energy. Then you can start to go backwards and figure out, why do I need all this energy? What am I doing to myself to cause this lack of energy? So it's awareness, and then you can work backwards and figure out how you can shift. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, and when you get it, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, even if the answer really is, oh, I really I need some water right now, or I need fresh air, and you may not have time to go out for a walk, but just notice that so that the next time this happens, maybe you put in your calendar a 5-minute breath of fresh air outside. And suddenly that shifts your decision-making process in your business. So again, it's going back to awareness and giving yourself the opportunity to choose intentionally instead of automatically. And over time, those moments of awareness begin to change the way you lead, the way you work, and the way you care for yourself. And I do have a free guide you can download. I'll put the link in here. It is called the Food Freedom Collection, and it's 10 lists to help you love, nourish, and trust yourself. So if any of this, any of what I've said resonated with you and you want to learn a little more, please feel free to download. It guides you with 10 lists, and you can choose any one of them. You can choose all of them to help you begin to shift the way you act from automatic to intentional. And I really, really thank you all so much.
Jodi, that was great. I love one of the things that she had said I had written down. It was curious, not critical. How many of you loved that? Like, what if we just approached everything? Because would you agree, as women, we're very critical of ourselves? And so I thought that was great. So Jodi is going to put her offers in the chat. If you have questions, go ahead and put those in the chat. If you are watching the recording, those will all be listed below. You'll be able to connect with her that way. I'm going to go ahead, stop our recording.